back the truck in. 4:15 p.m. This, what is it, 28th or 29th of March. So sun is starting to stay up in the sky just a little longer. I mean, if you're looking like, you know, this way, this is noon, so it's way over there, but way down there. But I can tell by the listening to the variable frequency drive harmonics in the compressor that it's just on first stage, 40 hertz. So I don't think this thing's have any problem. Probably still running off of solar directly. You can see that it's just barely pulsing anything from the triac. I know a few minutes ago I just pulled this and it kept running. Whoop. And of course, since I went live, it's just to the point where the sun went down enough that it doesn't. But when I first got home, just closer to 4, it was able to run it completely. But anyway, it should be just pulling just a few amps now though, because my device, I think I'm getting my amp meter out here. That green light would be, you know, blinking a lot for the utility power to be feeding the VFD in there. But dang, it was just like 5-10 minutes ago it was running. But yeah, it's just barely not enough to run on the solar now. But it's pretty late in the day. But come summertime, the sun will be up a lot further still at 4 p.m. It'll work. But anyway, I still got to work on my next generation of this utility power controller, but the one that's in there, it is actually working. So I set my temperature a little lower upstairs. This is, you know, Arizona, of course, where it's been getting up, you know, into the 80s in the afternoons, hit and miss. But I need to set the schedule, that way this sucker just kicks down and runs, you know, at noon and in the first couple hours while the sun is up, so it like pre-cools the house while it won't use any utility power. So my makeshift device is working good enough to I can program it now. As the sun goes down, it'll keep gating. It's basically pulsing the triac on just every now and then just to keep the DC voltage from dropping too low as the solar can't keep up in the afternoon. So it's just pulsing just a little bit with utility, and it just does it more and more and more as the sun goes down, and then eventually it'll just be all utility power at night. But it's doing it pretty seamlessly, except for when I come over and fuck with it by pulling the disconnects. And if I pull the DC disconnect, taking the solar power away, you're going to see that green light just start blinking like crazy. Get the right angle on it. So it's only on first stage, so it doesn't even have to pulse continuously to keep the capacitors charged on first stage. But the utility power is definitely doing everything now. Now plug that in, and then it's a blend. So let's check the comments here. How did your twice ordered train motor go today? That went pretty good, detecting Arizona. Basically, I have a guy riding with, or not riding with me, but following me on calls or working with me that's learning all our paperwork, you know, new hire. So that was, you couldn't get 2 people in on that Voyager to change the motor. So basically I was just there and he did the work. I lifted some stuff and things like that, but I stayed there on site when I sent him to the Deer Valley train store. So yeah, just a motor with a new pulley and then the idler sheave that, you know, likes to go bad every now and then on this train Voyagers. Anyway, yeah, so I might fart around with the Ecobee. The Ecobee thermostats, they all do 2-stage, and I noticed that there's a lot of configuration you can do, even more than most of the Honeywells I know of, unless the new Honeywells have some more features I don't know about. But you can, it's not just temperature, you know, sagging 2 degrees above or below set point going in the second stage. I noticed you could configure a lot of that in the Ecobee, so I might make some of that a little more wide, or I don't know how to describe it, but basically so it'll kind of only run first stage a little longer before it actually meets the requirement to go to second stage. Maybe some sort of timer, that way when it first kicks on from the schedule, it won't go right to second stage if it's got like a, you know, 3, 4, 5 degree drop, because I'm changing the schedule that time of day. I just want to make this AC upstairs looks like just run once the sun is like in that prime spot, like 10 to 2 p.m. this time of year, maybe a little wider of a time slot. In the summer, when you got more sun, that way you do as much cooling of the house without using utility power, if that makes any sense. Ever considered a battery system? Yeah, I mean, I don't have any charge controllers or any inverters on this house, except for this one UPS inverter I do have for a computer system for access to backup stuff inside. I have batteries in it, but I could experiment with some stuff. So over here, some guys already seen this. They gave me 100 and something batteries from a job that they changed out on a server rack. These are used, but they said they got discharged a couple times, but they were still working. So I have over 100 of these, I think, total. They're so tightly packed in there, I can't have a hard time getting them out, but I got a bunch of these. They actually said they're 13.5 to 13.8 volts. Float voltage, okay. So I'm pretty sure these are just lead acid, unless somebody could tell me different. I never really paid much attention. I thought they're heavy, I'm figuring they are. It says it has PVs and everything. You know, whatever that means. It's a chemical we don't like. I'm gonna have to look up the model on these and see what they actually are. I'm assuming these are lead acid. They're heavy. It's gotta be. Gels don't weigh like that. So I still have I've got 20 of those in on my UPS, and I put 2 on another battery backup upstairs, and I still have, I don't know, every one of those boxes is 10 of them, I believe. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I think there's 100 right there, because I had over 100. Yeah, lead acid, but it's still pretty cheap for what it is. But hey, when they're free, you know, it's free. So I had this UPS 2200 watt that I got scored, and it just needed batteries, but none of the batteries weren't good. And I got 10 of the 30 batteries it came with to hold the charge long enough to kind of test it and use it briefly, but they were shit. But so I put 10 in one rack, and then I don't know, I got 20 of these batteries on the rack in there, and the UPS has been back online for a couple months, and we had the power go out for an hour or so, like a month ago or something, at night. And my computer and those the TV I'm using for a monitor, plus the other computer monitor, that's all hooked up to it and everything out in my garage, where that electronics area is. That all stayed on without skipping a beat. My daughter comes out, you know, the one on her wheelchair, and she's like, the power's out. And then she's like getting mad. She's like, why is your computer on out here? But nothing's on in the house, trying to understand that. So she was a little jealous of that. Or envious, I should say. Jealous is when you're protective of your own. Envious is when you want something that's somebody else's. So Benji was mad after she realized what I was doing, that I didn't have the stereo and the Alexa dot, Echo, whatever the heck it's called, plugged into the UPS, so she couldn't go out there and like tell it to play Beartooth and Fit for a King and all the music she's been listening to lately. So, do I have any plans to change the other heat pump? Probably not. I mean, money. I mean, if I get enough free stuff, then I'll change it. But when something's working, you know, I know how people talk to residential people and get them worried about, you know, if they're worried about their unit and they just make the investment, but, you know, tell them, oh, it's more efficient. We're going to go from this 10 SEER 12 or whatever this was, and we're going to put it in a 15 or something, or even just a 14, I think the minimum. It takes you years, honestly, to recoup that in your electric savings. So unless your unit's, you're very worried it's on its last leg. I mean, if this was the customers, I would probably tell them it's 20 years old and I would think about replacing it. But, you know, it's me that can fix little things on it. It isn't worth it for me to change it unless, you know, just even if I buy parts myself. If I go to a decent 14 SEER, you know, it's going to cost me thousands of dollars in parts to do it myself. Plus going back up my friggin' attic. So this is the downstairs unit. So to me, it's not worth it. So I'd almost want to put a multiple head unit in my house if I could. I might be getting one, but I don't know if it's really something to put in. I haven't seen what the heads are, but a 4-port mini split. I need one for my garage. So one's going in the garage before summer if I can help it, because I'm doing stuff out in there now. And I want to put more solar panels for it. That's my experiment. So So it seems like it's just hanging in there on first stage. The sun's going down more and more since we've been talking. That light's not blinking all that much. Oh, it is. You have to get the right angle in there to really see it. The green light's the one that comes on when my triac is gated. Yeah, I can see it better with my eye than this camera's pick up. There it is. So you can see it blinking. It's blinking. That's when this triac right there gates. And that just sends the AC power to the DC rectifier. Other than that, the DC, you know, power is from the solar. I should have done this last year. Even this hokey setup I right now is working good enough that it would have been nice if I would have just built that last summer, because it's automatically applying utility power just enough to keep the DC voltage in a little over 300 volts, where the VFD would be happy and this ECM motor would be happy. So if you guys go back in my videos, the last time I really had this apart, that is an ECM motor. I took out the split phase motor, split phase capacitor, you know, and I took a older, I think it might be a train, it's a train, I think it is, has the blue and yellow wire, which is your 24 volts, and then has the power wires. I took the module off the back of it and extended the 3 wires from the motor to the module and mounted the module down in here on the inside, kind of sealed, you know, kind of out of the rain. The rain hasn't fucked it up yet. And then wired it up there. And I already experimented when I got the solar and found out that indeed you could put DC power into a ECM blower, at least the older ones. I don't know about the X13 style yet, but the other ones, you're able to put DC power, high voltage, right into the AC inputs where your 240 volt would go. It just goes right through the diodes and charges the capacitors. It doesn't know the difference, and it runs. So there's no, and then I have just 24 volts from the thermostat wiring going to bring on the VFD and bring on that fan motor. It's pretty cool. So that fan motor runs off solar and the compressor runs on solar. Fan motor's pulling, you know, whatever, you know, maybe up to an amp or whatever it's rated for. It is stealing off my solar. That's, you know, it's got to fulfill, aside from just the thing. Yeah, ECM motor. Well, I've been saying it wrong. Eco-boards. So mini split. I'm talking about getting a mini split to put in my garage, but I know somebody that has one that I think still works that they might let me have. Let's fix it. Eco board. What do you mean by eco boards? Oh, ECM boards. Is that what you meant? ECM? You can't take those things, ECM boards, apart. I believe me, I wanted to fix some a long time ago, and they're dipped in that gel like they do for automotive engine controllers. You know, they got the gel that they dip it in so it's moisture resistant and vibration resistant and all that stuff. So yeah, you can't fix those unless somebody knows a way of putting a solution in it that just eats all that gel out cleanly and leaves you the exposed circuit board inside. But so far, yeah, for the blower motors, I've never been able to get the MOSFETs out of those or anything because they're always dipped in that gel. I might have one out in the garage. I do have to get off this video in a second. Oh, I hope this hasn't been skipping because it's probably on my Wi-Fi. Remember, it always never worked. Oh, you know what? It's probably on the Wi-Fi that's downstairs I added, so I actually have 2 Wi-Fis here. Are you looking like a fool? Because I'm live streaming right now.
You are? From with who?
Oh yeah, you look like in underwear on like your daddy's shorts. Video. Yeah, they look like underwear.
I'm wearing shorts.
Well, we better not go outside the house. Pepsi Cola, or whatever. So I gotta get off this in a second because I gotta actually go change my shirt and get my truck ready to go tow my daughter's Chevy Cruze home. I just wanted to see real quick if there was an ECM apart up here so I could show you guys. There used to be a button right on this front of this phone to bring on the flashlight. Now I don't see it. Oh well. So here's an X. This is like an X13. I might try to get that one to work off of. So another one of those. I have a couple blower ones. I thought maybe there was a module back here somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I've have them all in use. That one's together, so you can't see it. But yeah, that module has the couple more motors. That module has that goo in there. here's all those other VFDs I got. A lot of them are in the box still. I got all these at the same time. So people wonder why I'm doing the crazy solar thing I'm doing. Well, it's because I can do it at high voltage because I have some variable frequency drives and I can run compressors with those. So anyway, check the messages and then I better get going. So water heater. My water heater's still working. There's the controller for it, if you guys remember that. I can see that the water focus 133 degree and then only the power light's on, so it's not running that compressor outside, that little the pump and stuff. So heat the water with it, refrigeration, homemade. So, but anyway, hey Roy, you're on here just when I'm getting ready to call it. Anyway, I was just playing around with the solar. I gotta get going, but yeah, the sun's starting to go down, you know. So those solar panels, the sun's at an angle, so it doesn't have as much energy density per square inch or whatever from the sun. Hey, hack free. You changed your name, not hack free, HVAC and electrical with I don't know. I'm always butchering your name every time. But you had a shorter name before you changed it. But anyway, I got to change my shirt on my uniform, and then I got to get over to U-Haul, I think, and go get okay. I got to go over to get a trailer from U-Haul and tow my daughter's cruise to my house. So it had like a overheating thing or something going on this morning. Hopefully it's not screwed up. Maybe get a video out of that later. We'll see. But anyway, I got to cut it. I just spent 17 minutes with you guys when I need to get going. So we'll catch you guys later, man. Okay.